And so my guess is that whatever test we're supposed to be taking has something to do with a leader of that description. I think we go about trying to identify, see if anyone around here knows who that might be if we described him.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
that
my
sounds good.
take.
I'm still holding the coin. Do I notice anything other than the sigil on it? Does it got any other markings?
It has a two serpents coiled uh, around one another. They when you look in the serpent's eye, it kind of creeps you out, makes you shiver a little bit, and you'd swear that those eyes turn red, but there's no rubies or gems on the coin at all.
Um, oh, obviously, I'm gonna relay that to everybody. I'm actually gonna take a minute and pray to Donatus.
Can I take you one?
Any sense? You have any sense of uh, anything from him or my faith?
It all that you're imbued with is a sense that there is a tremendously catastrophic event that is impending. It will be, um, God, I hate to be on. You get that Obi-Wan Kenobi feeling that something really bad's going to happen to the area. You can't place on it. There's no visions or anything like that. But just the sense of cataclysmic impending doom in the future.
All right, guys. Yeah, this coin's given me a sense that something really bad is about to happen. Not necessarily immediately, but sometime here in the future.
Well, let's take the coin with us, see if we can talk to somebody that can tell us about the image or who this figure might be, and maybe keep the coin hidden until we need to bring it out and show somebody.
Okay. Does anyone else want to take a look at this? See if
No,
we get
no,
anything different from me?
Look
I
at
can
it,
see
yeah.
it just fine from here.
Okay. I'll
Mhm,
was gonna say I'm just gonna go ahead and put it into my sack and
mhm.
see if we can find
Just
somebody
what?
else.
That's you, and I just wanna know if I can touch it, like, look at it.
Sure. Yeah. I'll here you can touch it.
All right. It does feel warm to you. You examine it and you catch the same vibe of the weird red eye serpent when you look at it at the right angle, but just briefly, and then it goes away. So brief that you wonder if you're not just imagining it.
My character is just lost. He has no idea what to do.
Does anyone know about, like, the history where we came from? Because if we're in the past now, if there was some sort of great war or something that happened while we were in the future, wouldn't we know about it now? Does
Not
anyone know
really. We
anything
already
of it?
covered that. We
Here, you
covered
don't
that.
know.
We already covered that to the extent that none of
Oh,
us really know the history of this area.
yeah, sorry. I cut out earlier.
That's okay. I'm just letting you know.
Cool, cool.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah.
Yes, you should have, but if you stay my friend, I won't tell anyone.
We'll be in a time loop.
Can we burn it?
Groundhog Day.
Um, I think we should either see if we can find a sage or maybe if there's a temple already here in town that we might be able to get some more information about this thing.
Yep, or the person it's about.
Yeah.
Let's head into town, guys.
I
Okay.
will carry the bag on the tip of my sword. Oh, such a
Cool.
classic.
That means two
Right.
things.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not getting any, I'll go ahead and put it in my bag.
Well, when you look up from the coin that you've been or signal that you've been examining, when you look up, you look around and everything again has changed. It is the city of Greyhawk. It is fully built. There is no construction going on other than a roofer working on Money Changers Guild Hall. That's it. Everything's different.
What?
It's
We're
all
back. Wow. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna take that out of the bag again and see if we're back in the past.
right. Removing it from the bag, uh, you look at it. Nothing is A. It feels cold. B. When you look at it, you do not see the red eyes of the serpent.
Okay. And when I look up from it, do I see Greyhawk?
Greyhawk, the city is still built around you, and the same roofers are working on Money Changers Guild Hall. Other than
I'll
that,
Okay.
slowly put away my sword and like, I don't understand any of this.
I think we were meant to get this coin in the past. I think it's probably still wise if we find somebody else who might know more about this. Then we'll have better luck here in the modern Greyhawk.
Time travel sounds like a really dangerous magic. I'm just a
Yep.
low class soldier. I'm not even a soldier. Like I'm trying to be a guard.
so as you're having this conversation, the city, a detail of the city watch marching down the road yells at you, "Oi, get out of the street, vagrants!"
All right, I get out of the street.
Move to
There's
the side.
Move out of the way.
there's a squad of 6 pikemen marching through. They're well clad, chainmail armor. They have pikes, and they're marching uniformly and sharply. Make their way past you without any other incident.
Nobody else with them. They're not leading anybody anywhere.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I don't see that this changes our goal shifting in time. We still, although now I guess no one's really from here, so we don't really know anyone here other than each other. Is that basically the size of it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
Is, what
I
about your
might,
temple? Is there a temple here for your deity?
I am not sure. I have not found it yet. If there is one, um,
You could probably get us in good. They probably have a library of some kind.
yeah,
We do that.
right. We can see if we can find a temple to Donatus here in Greyhawk.
I will just ask some people. Surely not everyone's an asshole here.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. So you can walk to your left or to your right. The troops came from your right. The the bar that has been the catalyst of all this is behind you,
Is it back?
standing 2 stories and fully developed.
Well, perhaps we should ask the tavern keep if he remembers us, and he might know where the temple is.
Idea.
Let's head back inside the tavern.
Okay. All right. So you walk up. It's the same. The landscape looks the same. The trees are that you saw previously are all in the same place, although they are a little bit larger and more developed. The tavern looks exactly as it did as far as the fascia and the construction of it. You get up to the front, you open up. There are Uh, a reasonable amount of people. It's by no means full. It looks like it's just open. There's a couple of barmaids walking around. It's subdued. There is some chatter. There is a bartender. You don't see the manager that you recognize from the thing anywhere, but
What about the old man with the ponytail?
nowhere to be seen. Such a individual.
Do I recognize any of the barmaids?
No.
So nobody in here looks familiar as far as the staff or anybody that.
Nope. The only thing that's familiar is it's the same interior, the same bar, the same decorations, all that. Other than as far as people, nothing looks similar.
I don't think we came back to the same time.
No.
Noticed the trees were bigger, and everyone in here looks different.
Yeah, this must have been from a time before when we originally came here.
Or after the trees have grown.
Well, how much? I mean,
They're they look not that much, but it's difficult to tell without, deeper examination. They have more girth on the trunk. They're slightly taller. They look like adult trees more so than they
All right.
were previously.
Can I go ask the bartender for A, a drink, and B, how long this bar's been here? Like how long the building's been built?
Okay. So you approach the bar. The bartender is cordial, nods to you, smiles. What can I get you? You ask for a drink, and he says, "Sure, you can have a drink." And he just stares at you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see craftsmanship like this too much. How long has this building been here? All these buildings around here are well built.
Yeah, it's a sturdy, well done town. Probably, I'm not sure, a century. I'm not from here originally. If you want the drink is 5 silver pieces.
Uh, I only have gold. I don't know how to break that down.
It's he'll give you change.
Yeah, I'll give him a gold then.
All righty. So he looks at the gold piece and he looks at the your group. He kind of eyes you almost suspiciously. Um, takes the gold, bites on it, looks at it, shrugs, goes
Take
back.
gold. I'm a hard worker.
Very well, he says, and he goes back and uh, there's a little box that you see. He messes around with it for a bit and comes back with a small purse of silver and hands it to you and says, "There's your change." And he hands you the drink. He says, "Again, I don't know. I am not from here. These buildings have stood longer than I've lived, no doubt there."
Can you do me one more solid and tell me who owns these lands?
Well, as far who owns the land, well, here, this tavern,
Like
the
who's
mat.
the king?
Oh, oh, I'm fairly new. I'm not even sure. Is there a law that I must know? Perhaps you should inform me.
I'm just passing through, bud, trying to get some information so I don't step on wrong toes.
Yeah, yes, yeah. He says, I can understand maintaining your low profile. I do the same. I do the same.
All right. Well, thanks for the drink, bub, and I'll give him back a couple silver as a tip.
Oh, and he smiles and nods and is very appreciative of the chip.
I'll go back to the group and show them the coins and tell them what I know.
So basically, you wanted to get drunk. Got it.
Well, yeah, I'm drinking. Obviously, I'm drinking.
But
Wait, what happens if we take the coin out in here? Not let's just stand in a circle so people can't see what we're doing, but let's just take the coin out of the bag in here just for shits.
okay, I'll take it out of the bag.
Um, nobody seems to pay much attention to you. It doesn't evoke any type of anger or response at all. It's still cold. and there's no response to it from it or anything like that. Nothing changes if that's what you're looking for as far as the landscape or anything like that.
You've
Okay.
mentioned that it's cold to the touch several times now. Warm before. I wonder if we should check that periodically to see if it gets warmer as we move places.
What happens if we flip the coin?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll try flipping it. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
flip the air and catch it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, like you'd flip like heads and tails, flip it type of thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna flip it up in the air.
All righty, righty. Flip it like a coin or like a quarter. It tumbles a few times in the air, lands, and are you going to catch it or let it land on the ground?
No, I'll catch it.
Okay. When you catch it, you feel a brief sting in one of your fingers, like a bug bite, and there's just a slight amount of blood being drawn.
Yeah, that didn't go as I expected. I'll examine my finger real quick.
All right, and you
I run out of the bar. Leave him. He's done for. Just joking.
there is there's a piece of parchment that has somehow come out of it. It's very strong parchment. It's almost like a wood, but it is in a roll, and it is somehow coming halfway out of a coin. You can't explain.
Hmm.
And there's a
Um,
drop of blood.
Who's
Did
signing?
Inkwell, the blood.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So where did the blood
Yeah.
come from? It came from Darian.
Yeah, it's a drop of his blood. You can see marking this
And
thing.
it's on this hard wooden parchment which has fallen to the ground.
It's hanging out of the coin, which
Squeeze
seems
another
weird.
drop of blood on it.
can I pull the parchment out? Will it slide out?
It does slide out. It is considerably longer than the coin and longer than the circumference. So you don't understand how it could be inside the coin. There was no aperture in the coin, nothing like that. It's quite odd, but you pull it out.
This is
I'm
super
gonna
evil.
look around and see if anything's changed.
Everything looks the same.
All right. Is this parchment? Is it folded up? Is it?
Yeah,
Is it like?
it's rolled like a scroll. Mhm.
Um. Okay. Guess we should look and see what's on the scroll. Um. I will go ahead and start opening up the scroll.
Okay. It is what languages do you know?
As far as I know, I'm just my alignment and common.
Mhm. Mhm.
My intelligence is really high enough to know any of other languages.
It is not common.
I'll take a look at it. I know Orc.
Mhm. It is a foreign language. You cannot uh, identify. It's not Orcish though.
Right. One of the elves.
Yeah, take a look at it.
It is in Elfish.
Ah,
What does it say?
It says on one side of the paper, it says, "In darkness he rises," and when you look at on the other side, it's written. There's writing in Common, Elfish, and several other languages. In Common, it says, "You're wasting time. He must be stopped."
Oh, jeez.
All right,
Let's
is this
just go
guy?
kill.
They go ahead and um,
So that's what we're wasting time. Must be stopped.
Well,
You know,
Cross
he
line.
says we're wasting time, but he won't tell us who to kill. It's kind of like a catch
Yeah.
22. Huh.
Yeah. Well, I think we should probably get this coin to a sage or a temple. Anybody who might be able to know something more about it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
gonna ask the bartender where the closest temple is.
All right. He says, I'm fairly new here. And then he says, excuse me. And he takes a few steps to the side of the bar and he yells to one of the bar people. He says, "Hey, Mitchum, come here." And the guy gets up and says, "What do you want?" And he says, "These individuals are looking for a location within the city. I'm too new to know." And he walks away. He, being the bartender, walks away and moves towards the back of the facility and leaves you alone with Mitchum. And Mitchum says, "It'll cost you."
I'll raise my mug to the bartender as he walks out.
Mm.
Cheers.
He waves as he walks away, not turning back to look at you, but waves with his hand and disappears into the back bowels of the tavern. Mitchum says, 5 silver pieces.
I'll give him 5 silver.
All right. He says, "Right.
Your silver would be weird silver.
Well, you changed for green dragon, so it'd be the right kind." Um, so he says, "Yeah, you have to walk down this road," and he points right outside the Green Dragon, and he says, uh, "Move past the Low Seas Tavern, which is on your right. There's a turn to the left. Take a turn to that left. Look for the River Rat Bar, which is on your right. Behind some apartments or abodes, there's the Temple of Flotus. You can That's the nearest temple."
Okay. All right. Thanks, Mitchum.
And he just belches and walks away.
Nice.
Thanks, Mitchum.
Yes.
5 silver for directions. Fucking prick.
I mean, I wasn't going to give me my money. Uh, so as we're presumably heading there, following the directions as a group, I want to keep my eye out to see if there are any other troop movements. I don't know that I would call a squad of 6 guys troop movements, but I mean, it's a squad. I'm looking to see if I see any of that going on anywhere else.
Mhm. No, they had Greyhawk insignia. They were just local town militia keeping the peace on patrol. Mhm.
So the sigil on the coin. Right. I was going to say the sigil, is it, you described it as 2 serpents kind of intertwined. Is that what the sigil is?
Mhm.
Okay.
So, unless I see anything like that, I assume we make it to the temple.
Mhm. No, there's no, you don't see any more soldiers. That was
Okay.
just a patrol.
Okay.
Uh, it is a fairly busy road. As you progress, more people are showing up, doing daily chores. It's becoming uh, more into the hours where most are awake. Sun's rising. It's getting hotter out. You start to sweat a little bit. Not feeling real great because you're still quite hungover. Uh, Nothing out of the ordinary. You do see uh, the money hall, guild hall. It's got workers on it, loud banging from their roofing, and You take the turn, you see the river rat, which is not yet open. There's a little public sidewalk that goes off the road to your left, in between the apartments and dwellings. And you can see the temple kind of towering behind those buildings when you walk into it. So
This isn't your temple,
No,
but it's
it's a temple.
the god of law and light. Anybody familiar with their ways?
I'm not particularly religious.
No. Look around. Is there any brothers or anything? Anybody like tending to the temple at all that I could stop to ask, get information from?
you see a tall, slender man with pale skin. He has long white hair and very bright blue eyes. He's got a white gown and a gold and silver cassock embroidered with suns and moons.
I will approach him.
That is one pretty man.
Uh, he he bids you welcome to the temple. He bows and asks what's your business here. Are you followers? He asks.
I'm a cleric of Donatus, but we're new to the town and we were looking for some information. Um, could we show him the coin? Would you have a minute to discuss something? We have something that we need some information about. If you have a minute.
He says, he just looks very well. What's your business? Present what you're showing.
Okay. I'll show him the coin and ask him if he knows anything about the sigil or if he recognizes it.
He says, and examines it with some interest for some time. Good 5-10 minutes. He says, you better make yourselves comfortable. And he kind of points to nothing but the sidewalk, but says, please make yourself comfortable while I examine this in more depth. And he stares at it, not paying you any more mind.
Don't flip it.
I'm going to stay there with him. I'm not sure if everybody else will go outside, back out to the sidewalk, but I'm going to stay there with him.
He says, Mhm. He says, you're not one of my followers. He says, normally I would not permit you, but this information is too valuable not to have a look at.
You're a god of order and light, right? That's this guy place.
He says, he kind of tilts his head in one direction and slowly nods, says, yes.
We've been on an interesting journey since this damnable cursed coin came into our possession.
He says, that's an interesting development. How did it come into your possession?
Poo bag. It was in a poo bag.
His lip kind of trembles a little bit and he raises one eyebrow and he looks, he says, who bag?
Yeah, it was a bag. It smelled like shit.
And he just
But it
kind of
was wiggling.
Yeah, it was wiggling.
It was floating in the air.
So a bag of fecal matter gave you this coin.
Yeah, after a guy with a ponytail popped out. Or was it before the guy with the ponytail?
We are
Popped out the
experiencing
rabbit bag.
intense psychic or spiritual occurrences around our being here, and this is the first place we could come where we thought we might be able to get some help. So we're a little shaken.
Mm-hmm. He says, very well, very well. He says, well, what do you want to know about this?
Who's the sigil for? What is it a sigil of? What does it represent?
Well, there is one who grows in darkness. Uh, he's coming. He's a descendant of previous darkness, of a deep evil, a demon. And he may swallow the world whole if he is not stopped. That's why I'm tolerating you infidels for the moment.
We appreciate
Getting
that.
swallowed would really suck.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would put a
We
ding.
seek a path. We believe we are under some spell or control, or we're being tested by someone, and it relates to identifying and stopping something related to this, whether it's we've seen him in a mental image attacking and on a chariot. um, that's really all we have, in addition to what you've told us.
Mhm. Tested, huh? Ponytail, you say? Um, very well. I'm aware of this infidel as well. He is arrogant and believes that he can influence things in his own right. No, he's why he's chosen the lowly that you are, I do not know.
Hey, we're on a mission from God.
I just saw the Blues Travelers in my head.
Blues Travelers or Blues Brothers?
Blues Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a mission from God.
Exactly.
Uh, so he says he looks at you and kind of shrugs as if his conversation with you has ended and you've been informed. He just looks, yes, okay, now what?
Do you know of anyone in town that might know more about this? About who this is?
Well,
Where are we gonna kill him?
he says, well, where you? He kind of shakes his head. He says, I don't know why he sent you on this. He kind of looks a little frustrated. He kind of furled his brows a little bit and he says, if you have to know, this is a demon lord of the abyss, Grazit. His his people, his legacy is coming to swallow the world whole. Apparently, this absurd non-believer that has sent you on this thinks that you can influence this. I'm
Well,
repulsed by all this conversation. What else do you need to know? I
listen, dude. I understand he's evil and he's gonna destroy the world, but I'm gonna take this sword and I'm gonna jam it up his anus so far he can't swallow anything.
he says, well, I would expect that form of talk from the one who sent you. It's almost as crass as, if not more so than he is.
I'd like to I'd like to stop bothering you. It's obvious you're busy, and we're putting a burden on you. The only thing I would like to ask is that does this entity have a location or a representative or any known points in Greyhawk or in the Flaness, that are known to be associated with him?
He says, he says, he looks put out, but he says, There are mountains. There are mountains that house the source of this evil.
What mountains are those?
He says, I have no more time. I am not your guide through life. This buffoon with the tail brings you to me. He has arrogance. I should smite him myself. The coin will tell you. I have nothing more to say. And a extremely bright light blinds you temporarily. And when you regain your sight, the individual you're speaking to is just gone.
Rude. Just rude. Oh,
Why do the pretty ones always have the biggest attitude? Am I right?
Well, we have a
No.
little more information.
Yeah, we know the pigtail dude isn't good.
No.
Mhm.
Well, the ponytail guy wants us to defeat. Was it Grizzit? Was it
Grezit.
Grazit?
He says he was the legacy of Grasset.
Well, we know it's mountains, and the coin will tell us. Apparently, he knew enough to tell us that the coin would tell us. So maybe it getting warm and cold isn't so crazy, but we need to know about. I don't know. I'm not sure why he couldn't tell us about where the mountains are, but I would guess we probably are going to need to find at least that much information out before we start trying to use the coin for anything, because we head in the wrong direction. It doesn't sound like. Is there do is there a mage among us? No. Hmm.
No.
No
I think
mages or
splash
clerics.
damage.
What's that?
I'm a cleric.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a mage.
Is there a
So-
library or? I
I
mean,
guess
we
we're
need
gonna
a
need a
map.
map.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, library. Sounds
yeah,
great.
library.
Mhm.
Or a map shop. I don't know if such a thing exists or not, but
Yeah, we can see if there's a library or something that we can look
There
up.
was the guild place we passed.
Is that the money guild?
yeah. Like where your head's at.
Idea.
I'm not touching that thing.
Well, I'll see if is it still cold to the touch?
Well, yes. Well, you're standing there, it is, yes.
We're not in mountains right now, though, right?
No, you're in the city of
Okay.
Greyhawk.
I feel that is definitely going to be something. It's going to point us there, but I mean, give it a shot. I just don't think we're anywhere near where we need to be.
No, I think we need more information about Grazit and maybe if there's a library, sage or something in town that can give us information about Grazit, it might point to a location where he was at.
We're not having much luck. Everyone we run into is attitudey.
So what we're doing.
Getting there.
Coin. That's right. Good.
All right. Is there anyone else walking around there in the temple that we might just ask if they can point us to a library or
You were
Darn.
you were standing on the path that leads to the temple. You hadn't entered it yet. This individual looked like he was picking flowers or watering flowers when you came upon him.
okay.
Are there any guards around?
There doesn't appear to be any guards or anything like that. It's a fairly open area.
Is there anyone around?
You don't see anybody around other than the guy who disappeared on you.
All right, let's go back to the money area. There's going to be people there.
Mhm.
So let's head back there and see if we see anybody.
Okay. Alrighty. So you walk back onto the street. You're heading towards the money changers hall. So you're taking the same path you took to get to the Flotus Temple, back towards the Green Dragon Inn. Um, there is a small side street that leads to the entrance of the money changers hall. You take a right. Uh, there's also there's a shop that has a pack and other tools and uh, tack, riding
For like
tack,
horses.
acre
Okay.
Hardware and stuff.
Basically a general store. General store, no, not map. No, it's a general store. No, no.
Is there a guard out in front of the money changers?
There's guards, yes.
All right, I'm going to approach one of the guards and say, "Excuse me, I hate to interrupt you, but is there any way you could help me figure out where I could buy a good map of this area or the region at large?"
He says, yes, there's a cartographer's hall. He says, walk back out to the main street, head towards the barge inn to your left. And the street curves around to the south. You'll see the cartographer's hall just to your left, past that scourge of a place that they call the pit.
Hmm.
Ooh, that sounds fun. What's the pit?
Oh, it's a house of ill repute and tavern.
Oh yeah.
Mhm. It's deplorable.
Thank
The
you,
fact
Guys, I think we should find some good information there.
I thank you for the help. I really appreciate it.
Someone.
he nods.
All right, so at least we know where we can get a map. Do we want to stop at this store for anything first, or should we head towards where we think we might be able to get a map?
I don't think I need anything
I've got
at
everything
the
I need.
store. Um, I think
Do
I'm
we
fine.
hire? Do we hire folk? Added on?
We don't have anybody to fight yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking if I mean before we go to the mountain.
Sure. Yeah.
What
Look,
nothing from the store. I'm good.
I'm as eager to stop all the talking and reading as you are, but we have to do it to find out who we have to kill.
Is there a smith around that we could ask what kind of metal this coin is made of? Is
It's
it
not a bad idea. It might give us an idea of where it was mined from, which might be those mountains.
I'm gonna listen to hear if I hear the ping of a blacksmith.
All right, and listen for blacksmiths as you make your walk. Uh,
To the cartographer's hall.
right, and so you see that when you leave the guild hall, that the city workhouse is the building that you're facing when you walk back out to to the small path of a road that you used to access this area, and you head back towards the main road as was told for you to do. You're crossing the same area. There are people around, people going about their daily business, doing such things as, errands where they do. So the city's awake and there are people everywhere. Oh,
Do we make it to the cartographer, or is there a blacksmith on the way?
you don't see a blacksmith, but You do pass the workhouse, which is actually a prison. There are people that are working outside in the yard, pounding out metal into chains. So they're not probably skilled blacksmiths, but they are working on metal.
Gotcha. Probably not who we want, right?
Probably not, but they might know where a blacksmith is. We can maybe go see them after we go to the cartographer.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's see if we see something on the way to the cartographer. At the very least, I would take the recommendation of a cartographer on a good blacksmith over those metal workers, but I could be wrong.
Mhm, mhm. So you pass further. There's some restaurants. There's a guild hall that is for. Um, it's called the Fraternal Hall of the Elk. Uh, you see the pit that was mentioned. It's got a bright red wooden sign that has a succubus in flames. There are women up on the third story of this large building. They're taunting and pointing towards the human males. They're not dressed in much, and they're propositioning
As
for
we walk by, I'll take off my helmet and kind of comb my hair. Evening, ladies.
and they yell that for 1 gold they can send you to the pits of paradise, and they get real uh, loose and provocative and seductive with their movements, trying to track you into buying the wares for sale. You pass by that, there's the Barge Inn, which is a nautically themed decorations around a fairly large building. Appears to be a restaurant, tavern, and inn. And across the street is the cartographer's hall that you're looking for. It's a guild hall for cartographers.
Head in there.
Yeah, let's head in there.
Mhm. Walk into the courtyard. It's adorned with globes of earth.
Oh,
They're made of brass or bronze, you're not sure, but they're very yellowish in tint and glow. They're standing in different sizes and heights all through the courtyard. There is a gate that keeps a small patio with flowers and other hedges, uh, oh, and a door that leads into the building. It appears to be locked, and there is nobody to be seen guarding it.
these
We're-
globes. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask if there was anybody around, but
You don't see
So-
anybody around, no.
Are these globes of earth like they're decorations on the outside of the building?
Yeah, yeah, they're standing like
Okay,
lawn ornaments out there.
they're
Mhm.
brass and they glow a little bit.
Mm.
You said.
They have a yellowish tint. Whatever the metal is a yellowish tint.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, Darian, take the point out and take it near the globes.
okay. I'll pull the coin out and go over to one of the globes. Are they? Do the globes move, or are they just stationary? Do they rotate?
They do. Some of them do have it looks like they have axle for them to rotate. Not all of them, but some of them do. There's half a dozen different variants in the courtyard.
I'll find one that actually rotates,
Hmm.
and I'm going to take the coin out and hold it in my hand as I slowly kind of rotate. First off, I guess we'll try to find where we're at, Greyhawk on the globe.
Hmm. Touching the globe, it is hot. It's burn your hand hot when you touch it.
Okay. I don't have any gloves.
Let's see if I've got.
Anybody with a pair of gloves, see if they can touch this?
I don't have any gloves.
Yeah, I do. I wasn't gonna break in here if we don't have to, but if nobody's gonna let us in, we'll just let ourselves in.
I think we can knock Try to
Yeah,
knock
why
on the
don't
door.
you just knock?
There's
Yeah,
a
there we
gate.
go.
There's a gate.
See if somebody just let us in.
The gate prevents you from knocking on the door. The gate keeps you out of a patio, and the door is on the patio behind the gate. And the
Okay.
gate is locked.
Okay.
Is there
If
hours
I-
planted anywhere?
Is there? Yeah, the flowers are behind the gate as well.
No hours, like when they're open.
Not posted that you can see.
Well, this hot globe, shouldn't we investigate this?
Can we look at the globe and see if we can find Greyhawk on it without like touching it? Like, can we like walk around it and see if we can Greyhawk it on the globe?
One of the larger ones you can see Greyhawk. It's a very small kind of box-like icon that says in very small, hard to read print, "Free City of Greyhawk."
Take the coin out and
Yeah.
move it around it. See if it triggers anything.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the coin out and hold it over where I see Greyhawk and just kind of like experimentally move it around and see warmer in
No,
any direction.
it does not. No.
Hold it by mountain ranges and see if we can tell if it's connected to any of those mountains.
I'll slowly kind of move outward further and further away from Greyhawk and see if I notice a difference in temperature of the coin.
Mhm, mhm. No difference in temperature. That no change.
Stupid coin is supposed to be showing us the way.
We might have to physically be there, I think, for it to do that. Um,
But we still need a map.
yeah. we
Jinx?
still need-
You ready to break in there?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to. Let's get in here.
All right, I'm gonna go stand out by the gate and guard by the gate in case anybody comes by.
Before we do this, how far away from the closed gate is the door?
Um,
Back a little bit.
about a yard.
Oh,
Lionel, you said you had a 10-foot pole, right? Let's see if we can just close the gate and knock on the door from here.
I'm gonna go sit across the street because I'm not doing any crime.
We'll just kind of knock on the door without actually using a door knocker.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you give it a pool cue little action, tap on it a few times, and wait for something to happen.
Yeah.
Is there like a bell to ring?
You don't see a bell to ring, no, but you can tap on it with the pole. All right. So if we wait, how long are you gonna wait? A couple of minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nobody answers, right?
No, eventually, after about right when you think, okay, no one's there and it ain't gonna answer, out comes from half the door. The door is opened from the bottom. It's split in half midway, and out from the bottom comes a little gray gnome. And he's got his hat taken off so he can duck under the top of the door. He comes out and puts on his little hat and he says, you there, what are you doing with that globe? And he yells at the people messing with the globe.
Oh, we're just looking at it.
We're trying to find someplace. We're
What are you
hoping
doing?
you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He says, what are you doing with that? Do you have that device over it? Are you trying to take a copy of my map? What is that device? What is bring that over here.
Yeah, show
I'll
it to
call
him.
the guards.
Yeah, I'll walk over and show him that it's a coin.
He looks at it, looks up because he's a crane his neck looking up because he's a little gnome, and he says, "Oh yeah, all right." And he reaches up his little right hand and snaps, and then claps, and out comes two guards, and they're carrying short swords. They have yellow, like smocks on. They look like m- musketeers. They have feathered hats. They're yellow plumed feathered hats, and they're carrying these small short swords.
2 guards, you said?
Yeah,
Two of them, yes.
Okay.
There's and
yeah,
they
you.
they
you
I'll
take
just
come
look
over
for a
now.
map. We were just looking for a map.
they come up to the take a position on either side of the gnome, and they keep their hands on the hilt of their swords, ready to draw them. He says, "I was told," and he just goes back in. He says, "Stay there." He goes back into the thing, the building, and he says, "He's hear him yelling and kind of profane and doing a lot of bitching, and you hear a lot of things happening. You hear woods, and sounds like he's ransacking the place is what it really sounds like. So this goes on for about 15 minutes, and he's just looking around, and he says, "Oh yeah, here we are." And he comes back out, and he says, "Here," he says, "he told me, and I owed him, but this is all you're getting." And he rolls up a big map, maybe about a meter by meter, and he hands it to one of you, and he says, "Take that and off you go. My debt is paid."
Who told you?
The one with the eye and the hail on his head, and the old man.
Look, no,
I'm
we
too.
didn't be involved in whatever we're involved in either. We're just trying to figure it out so we can go home.
Mhm, mhm, He says, "Yes, we know."
Do you know who that is? Have you seen him before?
Well, no, not really. It's a long story. You wouldn't understand. I don't know that I understand.
Well,
Did you happen to be having a drink or something and pass out and have a weird dream?
And he looks at you like you are absolutely insane. He says, "Drink? Dream? You don't have any idea what you're talking about. I don't drink. I have work to do inside."
well, perhaps a gold coin could jog your memory about who this guy was.
And he looks at the elf and he says, "Young lady, I believe that I could drown you in the gold coins that I have. I do not get paid off. If there's something you need to know and I find it interesting to find out for you, I will do so. Not likely coming from the likes of you." And he looks around and points at each one of you individually.
Sir, do you know of any evil mountains around here?
Evil mountains?
We gotta go stab the evil swallower of the world.
He looks at you completely dumbfounded. He says, "Clearly you're not locals."
No, we're not.
No, maybe a time portal would interest you.
"Time," he says. "I don't have any time for any of this."
Right, and the quickest way to get rid of us is to just give us a hint about where the metal that made this coin might be found, what kind of mountains it might have come from.
I'm a cartographer, not a metallurgist. I wouldn't know.
Ugh.
Part of what? He looks at you and his eyes kind of dart back and forth, look off to the left, and he says, "Give me that device. Let me see that."
I don't feel comfortable handing that to you through this locked gate. There's nothing that says that you don't just take it and walk back in and close the door.
And he puts his hands on his hips and he kind of tilts his head and he says, "Do you really want that?"
We've been told that we're supposed to have something to do with it. Yes.
Why is it Greyhawk? Everyone's so angry.
Well, why are we all so angry? It's early in the morning and we have things to do and things are changing and we don't like it. Show me the coin. Hold it up, you greedy.
I'll hold it up for him to be able to get a closer look, but not close enough for him to be able to grab it.
He says, "Unfold the map."
Right.
This man is insane. He starts mumbling to himself that this man must be insane to send these people. They don't even know where they're standing. This is just insanity. And he says, uh, "You're looking for," and he starts trying to point towards the map. He's kind of scanning around it a little bit. And he says, "Bring it closer. I'm short. I can't see this."
Bring the map closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, uh, right there. And he says, "This is where you want to be. If that's what this buffoon with the hair thinks is going to work, you can go there if you need to. Good luck."
And what is he pointing to?
He's pointing to a mountain range on the map.
Is there a
And
name?
yes, it is not marked on the map, but as far as a name, that is, it's marked on the map, but there's no name to it. He says, "There in that area."
Okay. Let's see if we can.
He looks at all of you and he says, "Mm, you wait right here. You'll be sorry if you leave before I come back." And he walks away and you hear him ransacking the place again. And he goes on for another 15 minutes. It's getting hot. You're sweaty. You're hungover. This is very inconsiderate, but and uncomfortable. But he finally comes out with a giant quill pen with a wide uh, tip to it. And he says, "Here, mark it." He says, "You look like the type that may not be able to read and forget much. Mark it. You should at least have a chance by getting to the right spot. Mark it. Here." And he points towards the mountain range again.
Yeah, I can spell a couple words.
Uh, thank you. I'll take the quill and circle the mountain range that he pointed to.
That's where the legacy is, he says. And you hear this, it sounds like a wine cork popping, and dude's gone, but the two guards are still there.
Okay. Do we still have the quill?
He left the quill behind, yes.
Okay.
Great loot.
Tuck that into my bag.
Okay.
All right. Well, we have a location.
But we don't have a name. Do we? We don't know anything about the. I mean, I will have to assume that it's not good there. It's not a place we want to go.
How far away does it look like it's from Greyhawk?
It is maybe it's on the other side of the world, really, probably a month's travel.
Jeez.
Wow.
Mm.
We might need some horses.
At the least.
Come to Greyhawk. You can get an easy job, they said.
I had to leave my horse behind in the Wolflands. There was a misunderstanding with the Khan's daughter. There was some unpleasantness. I can never go back.
Hmm.
But I do know horses.
Let's see.
Mhm.
That might be a challenge.
Awaken.
You guys walk everywhere? No wonder you're so skinny.
Is there anything? What is the closest thing labeled to on the map that we were given?
The closest name. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Let's
Yeah.
like you wanted.
I'm assuming what we're looking at, the map we're looking at, is the map that we have for this campaign, right?
Mhm.
Excuse me.
The map that he's pointing to is the map that you have for the campaign. Yes.
Okay. So I'm seeing where Greyhawk is. What is the closest named thing to the mountain range that we circled?
Where they're talking about going is Heron Land.
Okay.
No idea where that is. On the
No,
map.
that's not too far from my home.
Yeah, I don't even
It
know
was-
where Greyhawk is on this map.
It's at the near dive. Like it's basically in the middle. Kind of. There's three little parts of the near dive that point downward. It's at the base of the middle one.
I was born and raised the Atoll Mountain.
Which
That's
quarter
in-
of the map are we talking about?
Yeah, am I at the right map?
Um,
Go ahead.
The here I'll give you a link to it again.
I'm seeing we're looking at the map, it's it's almost center quadrant,
I didn't hear which quadrant. I just heard quadrant.
upper left.
Upper left in the middle. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh well.
you'll see Parent Land.
Well, shit. We're neighbors.
Hmm.
Nomads are just to the north.
Ah, that's
Oh.
nice.
Yeah, I won't be going with you. I'm not going back up there.
Quite a while since I've been there.
All righty. So what do you think from where you're at? What's your next move?
Well, these
Yeah,
hexes are how big are these hexes? These are 5 mile or 25 mile hexes.
The hex is 5.
Okay, so it's really not that far.
It's at least a few weeks, I think, to travel. Do you think?
5 mile. I mean, 5 mile hexes. Yeah. I mean, it's at least a week's travel. It's not more. I mean, if we're going through mountains and stuff, it'll take us 3 times as long.
Mhm.
We can't afford horses. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I've got a
Um,
week's rations on me personally in case we're taking stock.
We got a couple weeks. Um, but I'm imagining it's not going to be as simple,
No,
right? So, what time of day is it now? Or are we getting close to afternoon?
It's very close to afternoon. Yeah.
And when was the last time we ate?
Uh, sometime before you got all liquored up at the beginning. So you'd probably be very hungry.
Yeah, that getting something to eat might be a good idea.
do I have
Know where
vomit?
we
Oh,
can
I'm sorry.
go.
Yes, it's a tavern and restaurant and inn.
Sounds fine to me. However, I'm very lacking in funds. As I've said, I have one gold piece. I really need to do something about that. Um, so unfortunately, I can't contribute much other than that one gold.
No, I got your lunch.
You do me honor. My ancestors appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm not rolling in it, but I've got a few coin.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I guess we're
Oh.
heading to the barge inn.
Okay. So walking across the street after you see a gnome disappear in front of you, you walk right across the street into the barge inn. It is a very well decorated area. This looks like a kind of high class restaurant. Everybody's very quiet. Everybody there is speaking, but not loud. There's no ruckus, no drink or song. Everybody's, you know, dressed to the nines. They look at you like you're kind of out of place. Um, and they ask, what would you like? They said, we have stables in the back if you're lacking in funds, which apparently you are by the look of you.
Is this the red light place?
No,
No,
I knew we should have gone to the whorehouse.
Maybe we need to find a different place to eat. This
we
one might
can't.
be a little expensive.
I doubt we can afford that, or I can't afford either. So it doesn't really matter to me.
there's a lady that says to you that she thinks you're a little bit under funded for this place.
I'll
Oh
ask
yeah.
her. I'll ask her. Yeah, we weren't quite sure what this establishment was like. Is there a place that might be a little more to our liking here?
She says the city council has no zoning, so there's the whorehouse across the street. If that's into your liking, that sounds like something you'd be
Looking
more
for
interested
food.
in.
No, I think I like it here. I'm gonna slam over a chair and sit down.
Okay. Or-
She says it. She also says there's the river rat, also seemingly well named and apropos for the condition that you lot look in. He says, but if you're not going to dine here, and I sincerely hope you do not, you should vacate so that we don't have any issues. You'll scare the customers away. Do
All right,
please move on.
we can take a hint. Let's go to the river rat.
I like it here.
Well, uh, I'm
You
not.
want
I don't care. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you well if you're gonna walk to the river rat,
I'm just gonna go outside and wait and until people calm down and either come and get me to go back in and make an issue of this, or we go where we can afford and not have more arguments with people.
when you walk outside, the people the ladies from the pit try even harder to get you into the place. They start bearing some suggestible
Hmm.
things to you.
Yeah, I say, I yell up, "Are you kidding? You should be paying me."
Right.
I mean, I guess I won't start a fight if the rest of the group isn't down for it, but I'm giving the lady the nastiest look as I scratch my crotch and leave.
When you leave, the ladies try to entice you as well, and they seem like they really need some business because they're really being demonstrated. So they're doing that. If you want to
Yeah,
move
just
on,
meh. Do that old man meh. Walk away.
okay. So you move past the. All right.
Yeah.
You walk past the pit and you get the show, whether, and uh, so there's lots of people on the street now. Some of them look a lot more friendly than people that you've ran into so far. Others do not. Others look like they're terrified of you and move past with extreme haste. You walk back past the barge in. Um, you've got your coin in your sack, so you're carrying that in a sack as you walk by, correct?
Yes.
Hmm. And you make your left, head back towards the Temple of Flotus. Across the street is the River Rat. You get in. This is looks like it's probably more to your uh, income level. It's not dirty, but it isn't pretty. There's people eating there. Um, there's not a huge amount of ruckus, but it is noon, so it's a fairly lively place though, and very uh, heavily attended. Uh,
Did the vomit make it through the time warp with me, or am I clean here?
you don't smell like vomit, no.
Okay.
So, you do have to wait about 10 minutes for a table to vacate.
Yeah, it's a Darien that's got stink finger.
Shit. How tough does this place look? There's a lot of people looking like they might be able to throw down, or is it just poor people?
No, they just seem like they're the working class.
Gotcha.
Nobody looking like they're ugly or wanting to start a fight or anything like that. Just mhm.
Well, we need a table or booth or something large enough for five. Is that how
Yep.
many there are of us? Five, six for six of us. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. They said it'd be about they figure maybe 10 minutes. They're trying to clear a place. It's very busy. So lots of people there.
Right. Little
Fitting
late.
in. Mhm. Uh, Lots of people come by, give you salutations. They seem relatively friendly. Um, Not talkative necessarily, but nobody seems to be hostile. They sit you down. It's a kind of a park bench type of table. Nothing terribly fancy.
Nice.
Uh, you know, but they ask you uh, for 1 gold for their basic meal, be some potato type of gruel and some water.
I mean, I'll give my 1 gold for that.
Okay, that's for your table now, not for per
Well,
person.
I might as well get spending my 1 gold piece out of the way. So I pay for. I say, look, I've given all my money. That's all I've got. So enjoy.
Okay, all right. So you take that, and so it takes about 20 minutes for them to get this ready for you. In the interim, between that time, somebody gets up from a table next to you, walks over and says, uh, you could have gotten better food, right? That's not all
Really?
that's not all we serve.
That's all the money I had. But thank you for pointing that out.
We have a tremendously good venison for only a couple of gold per person.
Ooh.
We employ hunters locally here, outside of the city, and we bring it in on a fairly regular basis. So most of it isn't going sour yet, but you'd never know with this wonderful sauce that we make for it. And you get a nice vegetable garland, and it comes with an ale for the 2 gold.
Hmm.
One more golden.
6 times 2 would be 12 we are paid one, so it would be 11 gold. I'm not affording it. I'm good with potatoes and gruel.
Hmm hmm
Mm.
Well, we could always use more meat. It doesn't ever come in fast enough. Do you have a cart?
That's what she said. Oh, sorry, my mic's on.
You- He turns white and looks scared, and he says, that seems a little far out. Um, you don't look like you're from around here, uh, um, but I'm just paid to help sell the food. I really don't want to get involved in anything. Um, and he kind of backs away slowly and says, "You all have a good day," and looks a little weirded out, slightly grossed out, and he leaves.
Mm.
I think we should stop asking people about this here.
It seems to make people uncomfortable.
We're gonna get killed in our sleep.
People are weird here. We just need to.
I'll be fine with potato rule. I'll be happy to the blessing over the food if anybody has.
So they come, they bring out the food. It's brought out by a teenage boy, curly hair, somewhat drawn in the face, looks a little ill, but not lacking in strength. He has no problem carrying out the food. He gives it to you. He's very polite. He pours you your water and asks if everything looks to your satisfaction and if there's anything else that you want or need.
I'll give him one of my silvers.
Oh, and he bows gracefully. He says, "Thank you very much." And he says, "If you'd allow me the liberty, uh, I see that you sent uh, Vance over there running in fear. I have to ask, what did you say to scare the man? He's somewhat of a bully."
He's a bully.
Yes, somewhat. So I'm enjoying his fear. He deserves it.
You knowing wouldn't do you any good.
Very well. And he seems to consider that. And he says, that tracks. And he says, "Thanks again." And he holds up the silver and puts it in his pocket and off he goes.
I scarf down my gruel greedily and drink my water and thank my ancestors for the meal.
Mm-hmm. 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 That's
So
right.
we have a destination at least. Now we need to travel.
Yeah, I need to figure out exactly how we're going to get to where we need to get.
Yeah.
Where's the
Need,
nearest place from where we are on the map? Where are we going next?
I would say, oh, where'd it go?
This one
Let's see.
zooms
Zoom
in a
here.
lot more.
Divers. Be the next city. Am I seeing that? Am I saying that correctly? Divers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That would be the nearest city. And then there's Verbonk along the coast there, on the other side of the gnarly forest, along the river there. I assume we probably want to follow the river.
Hey, maybe we could get passage on a ship that's heading up the river.
That's a possibility. That would be better than trying to get horses for everyone. Perhaps we can earn passage. I don't know. Do ships on these rivers row a lot? I assume there are oars in a lot of these ships.
Yeah. So there's a lot of trade done by river and such. Yeah.
We may be able to earn our passage rowing.
Finally, something I can understand.
That looks like we'll have to travel by road until we get to either near Div, or we could cut across to get to the Bellardiva,
Uh,
Bellardiva River.
Yeah, divers is probably the place where we can
Yeah.
try to get work rowing. We might be able to take a boat from where we are to divers, but it's worth a shot.
I don't know if I saw any docks or anything here in Greyhawk. Is it landlocked or is it near a river?
It's near a river. A river goes up to the near dive from it, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Um, we're kind of going back the wrong direction though, and might do us good to get to know each other's abilities over a short, you know, day or two travel to divers, and we could resupply in divers and try to find work on a ship that could take us up the river.
Looks like it's about 30 miles.
So 2 or 3 days, depending on how we can march and what dangers we might run into.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
would say,
should
yeah.
we should be more discreet about this, definitely.
Yeah, not talk to as many people.
So we need a story, ostensibly, for why we are going to Perrinland. That's near where we're going. I assume we probably want to stop in your
Mhm.
homeland and travel from there.
Yeah, my village that I grew up in was nestled between the mountains there near Perrinland and the Vested Forest. So
What
Did
kind
we
of
say that we are attending a funeral and we are traveling to go and pay our respects?
yeah, I have a few uncles that weren't doing too well last time I left, so I'm sure that they've probably passed on by now.
just so we have something to tell people other than, hey, check out this obviously evil coin. Why are you running?
Yes.
Is it Bob?
Bob?
Your uncle. Bob's always your uncle.
Yes, it's Bobbin.
All right. So we're going to attend the funeral of, is it a Darian or
Yes, Darian.
Darian's uncle Bob, and we need to earn our passage on a ship there. That's our story for most people. If we identify anyone who we think might be able to help us and can handle the information, we can decide if we want to show the coin to anyone else. I would recommend that we try to keep an eye on the coin. It sounds like from your description that it can change properties, and as we travel, it'd probably be important to pay attention to the coin in terms of its properties.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to go towards the river to look for a boat to get on. Is that how?
We're
you're
gonna
gonna-
we're gonna travel by foot. I thought to Divers first.
Okay, you're going to walk out. All right.
Yep.
Okay. Righty. So you have finished everything. Well, when you get up, the people in the restaurant now look at you with a kind of mixture of fear and contempt. Uh, very wary looking, very different from when you walked in.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
need to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
All righty. So you're going to leave the city heading towards Diver. So when you walk out of the restaurant, there is a left and right. You can go left and or right. You came from the left, so you would likely want to go to the right. That's in the direction of Divers. The city has walls. There's a gate. You can see the bastion towers of the city gate up ahead of along the road, standing over some of the big. Mhm.
Is there anything that we think we might need? Anybody need anything before we leave this city?
No, I'm pretty good. I got torches, wire skins, and rations.
No,
I'm good enough to get to Divers.
Okay. I think I'm good enough as well. We got 2 weeks rations, torches, some oil, water skin. I'm good.
Didn't think I'd be leaving this place this soon after arriving here, but I can't say that I'm going to miss it. Don't much care for the people of the city so far.
Mhm. So you make your way out to the final exit. You get onto the street. Um, you're going to head towards the gate of the city, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. When you walk outside, open the door, get to the side of the street, there is a very large procession of soldiers. This isn't 6 or 7. This is several hundred, and
Lord.
they're pikemen, swordsmen, archers. There's folks with drums. It's quite a large unit of troops marching towards the city gate, the direction that you plan to go.
Anyone standing about watching them go by along with us?
There is the the normal traffic has all been pushed to the side, making way, so they're all standing watching.
Mm.
There is some uh, clergymen, you presume clergymen from the Temple of Flotus. They're standing and blessing the men as they go by. Uh, there's
How do you
also
spell Flotus?
Pholtus.
Pholtus. Okay, gotcha.
And when you also see a half a dozen very well armed plate mail knights with white plumes and bright shining armor. They have blue capes, cloaks behind their armor. They have a yellow and gold sash going across the armor. Their weaponry looks superbly created, and they take up a column next to the soldiers and march along with them.
Hmm. I'm gonna ask somebody standing nearby, they know what's going on.
One of the older gentlemen that's standing around you, he's average, some sort of worker of some sort, seems like a peasant, says, he says, I've been in the bars from time to time. Don't tell my wife. He looks around. He says, uh, from what I've heard, there's fighting occurring to the north near the bandit kingdoms. Perhaps
with
they're
them.
involved. Well, I don't know. All I know is that there's that forces are on the march. I don't know. They're not. I don't hear everything, but something from the bandit kingdoms. I presume that this force is here to uh, answer the situation in case it moves further south towards us.
Mhm.
So,
I'm not sure where the bandit kingdoms are on the map here. I'm looking here.
They are north of Nanir Div, above the Shield Land.
Okay, thank you.
in
Is
another
the
yes,
medallion or coin, is it hot or cold right now?
it's still cold. A young lady walks up behind you as you check the coin for heat. You put your hand in the bag and feel it, and a young lady, kind of dishwater blonde, very pretty, hasn't dress on. She starts wooing and waving and clapping, and uh, she says, "That's mine, boy. There, that's Robert." Uh, and she blows kisses to him and waves. He doesn't really seem to notice that much, but you see his eyes divert slightly towards her, and there's some reaction, but appears to try to maintain the discipline of a soldier as he walks by. She says, "He's going off. They're sending them north. Just as a precaution, he'll be back. We're to be married. I'm not losing my Robert. This isn't war, at least not yet."
He's gonna be fine.
He says,
Yeah.
she says, "I'm confident this won't affect us, but precaution is needed. The Duke says so. My Robert is a brave boy. He'll show honor to the city. He'll be back. We will be married." And she's waving and clapping to the rest of the soldiers as they march by.
Guys, I got a good feeling about Robert. Think he's gonna be
Yeah.
all right.
He's going to be
Why
good.
don't we go with them?
Yeah, I was just thinking, why don't we trail the soldiers, and that might kind of.
I
make
mean,
us a
we
little
can follow them
closer.
out of the city. They're probably going to go through divers.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We,
we think they'd have to go around near Div.
yeah, we just don't want to get taken for spies or something.
No, I mean, like, why don't we offer to work for them for mercenaries? It's a free trip up there, and we'll be traveling with an army.
I'm completely open to that concept, but given our treatment by people in the types of outfits that I've seen here, I highly doubt they want us around. But if you're willing to make the effort,
I think we might need to follow, but not closely.
Discreetly.
Mhm. Mhm.
it sounds like we want to we just want to follow, unless somebody actually wants to make the effort of getting a conversation going with someone.
I've been conscripted into an army before, and I don't care to have that happen again.
So you don't want to follow them,
I don't want to join them.
No.
right? No.
We could follow them loosely.
Yeah, I mean, we can stay, a mile behind or something. You know.
Mhm.
Well, discreetly, just follow them, but don't let them know we're doing it.
We're just heading in the same direction. That's all.
Yep.
You're right. All right. So you wait. It's quite a fanfare. There are people who look very concerned. Some look very upset. Many that are gathered around are cheering and waving. It's almost like a parade atmosphere as these legions go by. You can't tell exactly how many, but based on the banners, You presume there's uh, 250, something like that, soldiers uh, moving past you before it's all over and people start to congregate back onto the street and go about their business after short conversations and small talk around many of them. Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, as soon as I guess the end of the troop passes by, we'll just kind of slip in to the crowd and loosely follow them towards the gate.
Well, I'm thinking there's probably going to be like some camp followers or something, and we could like slip in with that group and nobody would think anything of it.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm completely fine with that. But we'll just keep an eye out for that, and once that group starts to go, we'll sort of flip in. If we don't see that group, then we'll give them, what we think we'll take them out. I don't know how far we can see. We want to keep them in sight, but if we can stay a mile back and still see them, this seems like it's fairly open country. It's not like heavily wooded where we are here, right?
No, you're inside the town. There's no woods. I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
there's
what the track from here to Divers is
oh,
it's probably a lot of farmland and stuff.
if you okay, when you follow them out uh, the gate is St. Cuthbert's Gate. It's marked as such. It's got similar symbols on that marking than the ones you saw at the temple that you were at. Um, there's some buildings and docks. It's got some fairly large river ships docked there, and you see the troops moving onto them. One of the ships has a a bunch of ooh, what's that? Is that me?
Darian, you got feedback
Yep.
going on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you've got one of the ships has carts and horses up on the deck. Uh, Nobody there is a soldier that you can see, although there are some armed men uh, you can see on the dock near them. It's a very uh, heavily laden ship. You can tell by the water line being slightly higher than some of the others.
How close are we passing by to this ship?
Well, they're right in front of you.
Oh, okay.
They're yep.
I'm
Mhm.
gonna hail. Is there someone guarding the gangplank?
Oh yes, there are soldiers guarding each one
Yeah.
of them. Mhm.
Gonna hail the guy guarding the gangplank and say, "Hey, you hiring rowers?"
He says, "Stand back, sir. This is government business. I'm nothing but a soldier. I have no information for you. Stand back, please." Well,
Right.
there's a there's a guy yelling coming down the front. There's a frontage road along the river, and walking towards you is a man yelling all sorts of commands to all sorts of people. He doesn't have a uniform on, but he does have parchment in his hand, and he does have a sword in on his hip sheath.
I'm a big dude dressed in plate. I'm just gonna holler over, "Hey, we need work and travel. You got any place for us?"
Mhm, mhm. Uh, why don't you do this? See, well, is there anybody you're just going to do this on your own? Is what you're saying? Nobody else is doing this, just you,
I mean,
Well,
he's speaking
he
with a group.
looks
We're
like
speaking.
he's pretty busy, so like,
right?
yeah,
Right.
I'm a pretty big dude, and I look like I'm pretty serious for war.
Okay. All right. All right. He says to you, "Do you have a helmet on?"
Not currently. I took it off.
Okay. So he says to you, he says, "You look a little overdressed for the merchants. What are they? Are you a bodyguard?"
No, we were just adventuring north. We're just trying to find some work in our way up there.
Well, this is a military expedition. I don't know how to help you with that. If you're with the merchants, we can direct you. We have to get this wharf keeping. I'm the wharf master. We have to keep it moving.
We're going to find these merchants. Maybe they can get us some work.
Uh, most of them are aboard. I'm trying to get everybody out of here. There's trade ships waiting. There's schedules to keep. They're aboard their ship, as far as I know.
I'll just shrug at the group. Like, oh.
So, oh, had a little audio problem there, unfortunately. I don't know if he's trying to communicate. Yeah,
Let's go online.
It's either a fan or your connection's like too close to not plugged in all the way. There's like something.
Well, while we're working on that, while you have your conversation, you shrug at your comrades, and there's one of the large paladins that you saw leaving from the temple approaches you and he says, uh, "Were you in the courtyard of my temple earlier today?"
Yes, that was us.
He says, "You have something in that sack that's black and cold."
I'm just gonna sigh.
He says, he says, "Yeah." Um, he says, "I can take that off your hands and dispose of it properly for you. This is what we are about, bringing the light and destroying the darkness. And what you have is a signal of darkness. We can unburden you." And he holds out his palm.
I have a feeling the certain somebody wouldn't like us getting rid of our only direction.
We have the same goal, I believe, but unfortunately, we're bound up with this coin. Our fate is bound up with this coin. We can't give it up, but we're not opposed to you. We have shared the same goal. It seems to me.
And he kind of nods and makes a little bit of a snort. And walking up behind him is a thin, wispy, older uh, lady. She's wearing all white, as the other guy you were talking to is. None of the gold sashes are trimmed, just solid white. And she puts her hand on the paladin's neck. He turns to listen to her. She whispers in his ear, and he nods, and then looks at you with a little bit of a snobby snort, and says, he says, "What does he look like?" They,
Why the hell should we answer any of your questions with your attitude?
"'Cause we don't have time for."
I don't care what you have time for. Everybody we meet in this town has been a real dick.
He 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 look he looks at you and he says, "Well, perhaps it's that darkness that you carry among your clan that brings about the best in people. We can unburden you, and maybe you'll have a better stay here in our city. Uh, you can present that to us and be unburdened."
You want to unburden us? Give us a ride.
He says, then he repeats his question, "What does he look like?"
I mean, I'll describe him as I saw him in the vision. On a the last thing that I saw was him on a chariot, as if riding off to war. And described what he looked like in the vision.
He says, he steps back and he seems very surprised. Takes a step back from you. He kind of lets go a little bit. You just see the tension in him just kind of drop. He says, "Hmm, very well." He says, "Follow me."
Right.
So the little priestess behind him, she kind of bows and turns away and walks the opposite direction. He walks towards the military ships that are behind you.
I'm just taking note of the ships and then realizing my people don't typically like to get on the water, but that's fine. I don't have any specific fears about it.
And he says, "Well, you're coming with us. We're keeping you close at hand just in case." He says, I'm surprised that you were given uh, the the information that you have been given. Though when I asked you, I wasn't asking about that hymn. That's interesting, though. I was speaking of the other one.
Which other one were you speaking of?
The ponytail, the man with the ponytail.
And he just kind of nods and says, "Yes." He says, "Did you speak to him? What did he have to say?"
He yelled at us and told us we were wasting time and that this was urgent, and that's about all we got. We're being tested. That's the information we
We're
got.
not being tested. We've been kidnapped by a psycho.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Okay. He says he says at the psycho reference he says well, you had a choice and you went this far. Uh Whether he's mad or not is up for debate, but I understand your sentiment towards him. He's somewhat of a thorn in the side of all of this.
Well, helping us get up the river towards our destination will help you be rid of us one way or the other.
Well, he seems to think that you have some part to play in this. So who are we to? And he looks kind of uh, rolling his eyes. Who are we to question his wisdom? And he kind of shakes his head and he says, uh, "We're followers of the light. We're we're our paladins of Saint Cuthbert. We're going along with this detail to provide some defense in case what happens up north travels to the south. You can come with us." He looks at you and yes. Uh, he's a crazy old wizard. He has a interest in supporting us in our quest. It's irregular to have to deal with somebody who has no faith, but it's the will of our faith or will of our order to try to stop what is coming. And he has played a part and interfered in it. We're not too fond of him, obviously.
Well, it sounds like we're both in the same boat.
Yeah, he's not been too cordial with us either.
But
He's
where? I'm sorry to interrupt.
But neither is anybody else.
Where are you heading from here exactly?
as well. We're here to support the detail that's being loaded, the soldiers that you saw.
Right, but are you going up the river to the northwest, or are you heading to the north of the near dive directly towards the bandit kingdoms?
we're not going to engage what's going on there. We're going to be a point of defense. They're heading towards Karn.
Arn.
We're going to make a post there. Where you're going, thanks to your newfound friend, and he kind of signals to the back of his head, apparently referencing the ponytail,
Yeah.
is in a different area, but this will get you far enough.
We appreciate your sensitivity and understanding.
Mhm. He looks at you and he takes a long, deep breath and he opens his mouth to say something and then he closes it and he says, he shakes his head gently. I can't think of anything. No, other than perhaps horses. He says, thievery of a horse is one of the uh, laws that appear to be constant no matter where you go. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah, he looks very surprised and taken aback by this, although he has somewhat of a smirk on his face when he listens to this. Um, he says, "You're very far from home. Why are so many elves with you anyway?"
I just met them. We don't really know each other that well.
You got a problem with elves?
Seriously, is there an issue?
He's, he says, "This isn't your area. As far as we understand, it's not your fight, at least not yet. And none of you seem to be associated with the typical elves that we would come into contact with when we rarely do. Uh,
Well, this wizard that you seem to not be too happy with didn't really give us much choice. This is the group of people that he's assembled. So unfortunately, we're all going to have to just deal with each other.
mm,
I like them more than I like you.
yeah. He says, very well, I'm not here for popularity. This isn't some sort of allegiance. You've been thrust into this situation. We have to tolerate the interference of this man. Uh, I merely question why they're not all human. No matter. Uh, he says, as far as horses, that's an expensive proposition to give to a group of people who likely have no possibility of success and aren't part of our expedition officially. Uh, he says, I don't know that you have the wisdom or the faith to speak for my deity. And he gets a little angry and he puts his hand on his hilt and he says, I know this much. My order wouldn't feel generous towards this endeavor. It takes from our resources.
Hmm.
Do we know how
It could be the wisdom of this wizard is sometimes questionable to begin with.
Do we know how far north they're going up was it the Selatan River? Is that what we're on?
They're going up to the
Yes,
bandits' place across the
Okay.
lake.
they're
or
going
river.
they're going to Karn to set up a post in Karn. They'll take the river and then they'll march to Karn. You can take the river as far as you want. Probably stop before you get to the hills, and they will drop you off, and you can make your way to Divers from there.
Yeah, I think,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think that's only like 15, 20 miles. So maybe we can just take the boat up that far and get off and cut across to Divers and try to get some horses there or get further passage on the river.
So,
Yeah.
as this conversation is all occurring as you're walking towards your ship. When when you get to the plank of your ship, you see a crowd gathered around it of civilians observing what's going on. There's some dock workers also, and in the crowd, standing somewhat taller than the rest, is your friend with the ponytail. And you hear the paladin make a frustrated noise and stomps off and walks right towards him.
I'm gonna be stomping right after.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow him.
I follow.
All right. So the ponytail man sees you and smirks at the paladin when he sees you approach, and just fades back, points at the paladin, and there's a group of large thuggish individuals that are carrying swords and other types of weapons, some hammers. There's a couple rogue-looking individuals with crossbows. They all surround the man with the ponytail and escort him away from the crowd into a waiting cart that has horses, and disappears. And the paladin comes back just fuming, bright red. When he turns around, he's surprised to see you behind him, and he says, "You all eavesdrop, knaves and rogues that you are." He says, he says, "You can take the ship if you want, or your friend here gets her sail," and he points to Leandra and says, "Horses, you'll get them." And he stomps away from you and he walks over to one of the shoremen, and he starts screaming at them about unloading half a dozen horses that were just loaded some 10 minutes ago.
You
I'm so
emasculated him with your
confused.
incessant nagging.
So they bring down 6 horses and they say, "There's a price, and that price will be paid. This is not a gift. It is a rental," he says. And when he says that, you hear a familiar chirping, the same chirping that you heard over by the fake or whatever it was inn that came from those golems.
Hmm.
And there's one of those golems pointing right at the paladin, and his shoulders go up, and he just kind of takes a sniff, and he says, "Saint Cuthbert uh, benefits you all, whether you believe or not. Your faith is not needed to
Oh, I got
benefit
no
from
problem
this."
with the gods.
And he stomps away even madder.
Oh.
He's very upset for a holy man.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
the look of those golems. Keep popping
Why
up everywhere.
everybody's so mad here?
Well, the golem moves away. You notice the one thing you notice about the golem when it moves away is that it doesn't step. Not really sure how it moves, but the legs aren't really moving. It's just kind of
Mm.
drifting along. Very
Uh,
odd.
does anyone else? Do the other people see these things? Are we the only ones that see these things? The golems?
Well, the other people see them and they're absolutely terrified. It has a very wide berth when it moves through the crowd. People are shocked. Some people are terrified. Some people actually run away from them.
Should we follow it or should we go?
You don't know where it goes and you don't know how it just disappeared, but it drives away or floats away or whatever the locomotion is, and you watch it for some time and then just it evaporates.
Hmm.
Well, after the scene with the golem and this, the dock workers march down with six horses. Yeah,
Yeah, they only go so far. Are they an illusion?
they sure smell like they're not. Oh, you mean the golems?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Huh.
Do any of the horses look like they're descended from the wolf people?
Nope,
Horses.
they just look like your standard horse.
I'm gonna
Basic.
give them a look over and pick one out. Given my affinity, my culture's affinity for horses, I'm gonna pick one out, the one that looks the best to me.
Mhm. Okay. None approach you. Sorry.
I'll hop on whichever one looks the best to me. And are we riding bareback?
No, they're saddled and everything.
Okay, okay. I hop on and say, well, I feel at home on the back of a horse.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. Uh, mhm. Mhm.
I assume they're all gonna die.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe these ones will live longer. They're going well.
So you now have that. There's the paladin is gone, but a shoreman comes up and he says, "I've been told to tell you that there's a bridge across the river in the direction," and he points to which you walked up to me, and head down to the end of the wharf, and you'll find a small bridge across the Slinton River there, and you're free to go.
All right. Well, I'm going to. Is everybody else getting on their horses?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna uh, take off at a good saunter and give the horse a little bit of its paces and see if everybody else can keep up. Not going to lose them, but I love horses, and I'm going to hop on and kind of give him a little, revving of the engine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh,
There, well,
I'll
there.
give her I'll give her tips.
Mhm.
Read one either. So yeah. What you say? Yeah. What you do?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What time of day is it that we're heading across the bridge?
It'll be afternoon, about an hour afternoon at this point.
right? So we can probably get to some type of hunt camp slash hunting ground, or maybe even there might still even be farms where we could, you know, stay in a barn or something if we ask nicely.
Mhm,
And I'm just gonna I'll ride. I'll enjoy myself riding, but I'll circle back if people are if anybody's having problems and try to be helpful if anybody's not used to riding horses.
Okay. Didn't have any problem with it. They're military horses. They're kind of trained. They're easy enough to command and ride.
Are they just riding horses or are they war horses?
No, they're draft horses that have been saddled.
Okay.
Draft horses.
I mean, I am enjoying this because I've been separated from my people and not been around horses in a while, and so I'm enjoying this, and I'm happy to take point and keep an eye out for things. I'm gonna ride with my bow ready.
Okay. All righty.
I guess I'll make sure Leanna doesn't kill herself.
Okay. Mhm. Yeah. So,
Draft horses are huge.
all right. So you're going to move in once you get across the river, which is easy enough to do. It's a like a pedestrian bridge. It's a little it seems a little bit shaky. You wouldn't, not not well constructed, but no problem. You make it over. And you want to head towards Diver. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I wanted to bring up the conversation that we had before all this about mapping and all that.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be on one of us to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I showed you a few images. I posted them in some of the chat about using hexographer for tracking the hexes. Um, is that something you want done, or were you wanting somebody to do it by hand, or
It's up to you the way you want to do it. It's free. It's for you guys to use mostly.
well?
So
So what I was gonna do, I'm not allowed to share anything in this channel, but I've got it pulled up to show people if I can be allowed to share.
you mean like screen share?
Yeah, screen share. I've got the hexographer pulled up here.
Okay. Let's see. Mm. I don't know well, that does that. I give everybody a link though.
Can you screen cap it?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just give you.
Yeah, I can put it into one of the chat channels, I guess.
Yep.
Which one are we the OD&D Greyhawk?
Yep.
I mean, I'll just show you what I've got right now. I've got one. This is got one hex. So um,
Here's a
I've
link
got
to the program. There you go.
what's that?
I'll put a link to it out there. Hexographer.
Oh yeah. So but I mean, I'm doing a map in it right now,
Okay.
I guess is my point. Um, so here's let me see if this will, I'm putting it in, um, so
Cool.
Hmm.
I can try to, is that okay for Greyhawk, what I have there as the starting point?
Sure. Or whatever works for you guys. Yep. It's all about your reference to the.
All right.
Mhm.
So you can just tell me if I need to start filling out any of the other hexes with, and these are 1 mile hexes, correct?
5-mile hexes.
Oh, these are 5 mile hexes. Okay, so this is okay. I thought this was all right. That's fine.
You probably wanna make 1-mile hexes though, because the idea is that you want some more detail.
Right.
So if you know where you're going. Yeah.
And this could be used for either 1 mile or 5 mile.
Mhm.
So I mean, we can call them whatever, 1 mile or 5 mile. So I don't know if I need to start tracking that or what kind of cutoff time we're talking about tonight. I just wanted to raise this as a point of someone having the capability to do this a little bit.
It's quite hilly in the area you're in. There's, the shoreline on the other side that you cross is somewhat rocky, but it's a hilly forested area that you're going through. There is a road leading out of, Greyhawk. Um, it does have a post on it saying that there's divers, along the road somewhere.
Mm.
So so you're on the road.
Grassland and hills, right?
Yeah, it's a grassland. It's a forested, hilly area.
So what o'clock from the starting hex are we in?
It's, it would be right to your left.
Okay, so okay, right. Um eh, yeah. So how um and at this point it's just us, right?
Just you.
Just the group on horseback. There's no other troops around or anything like that on the road.
No, no.
Okay.
We'll presume that the top of your thing is north unless it's got its, I mean, you can set it to north, I imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
just
fine.
okay. So just to the left. Yep, it's a road going through, a hilly forested area.
And we're covering about, I mean, how many these are 1 mile hexes, so we can go through 3 in an hour.
It's got a movement rate of 3, uh, yeah, for the wilderness. It's 3 on a road. Mm, You'll be moving 3.
Directly west.
Just to the one you're going into now is to the left, yeah.
Okay.
And
So that's just that 1 mile hex.
well, there'll be 5 of them because
Okay.
yeah.
But are they going straight left is my point.
Yeah.
Or we're not curving because it kind of curves there on the real map. So
Yeah, it's not a straight line, so you don't have to be completely straight, but it's to the left of the city, otherwise, or in other words, to the west.
right.
Yeah. It kind of moves, it's kind of a slight northwest
Oh,
towards
okay.
divers. But this, yeah. So,
Let's see. So maybe it goes like we can take it. This is why I wanted to try to share in the channel because I got to take a screenshot every time I
well, the idea it's just slightly northwest, so you want to slip a couple of
like that.
hexes moving north. Yeah. Hmm. There you go. That's right. Yeah. So the idea is here is that if you make something map on your own, it leaves you open to the possibility of maybe getting lost without using complicated rules that come with
Right.
D&D.
Sure, I
Mhm.
get it.
2 things that I want to avoid is using the wilderness survival any more than I have to, and the chainmail any more than I have to, because that'll make this thing seem like it'll get laborious. So, but other than that, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, that would be it. You know, as far as camping or anything like that, that's up to you to decide when and where you want to camp or how long you want to go.
Well, if it's mid-afternoon and these hexes are about 5 miles and we can do 3 in an hour, we could probably make it to Divers
We
tonight.
can't do 3 5-mile hexes in an hour, can we?
No, no, it's not. It's it's not 3 5 mile. Excuse me, I gotta get with my whistle. No, it's not the 5 mile hexes.
Okay.
These are 1-mile hexes, was my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
And we could do 3 of those in about an hour.
Let me see. Gonna take a look at the map here.
So it looks like it'd be about 5 hours to Divers.
hmm So you would start getting into
Oh,
dusk.
the hexes on the map, on the big map, are 5-mile hexes. The hexes on my map are 1-mile hexes.
hmm
So, and between where we are, it looks like there's 3 hexes. That's 15 miles, and we can go 3 miles in an hour. So, and it's mid-afternoon, so that's probably 3 times 3 is 9 miles. I mean, we probably could make it to Divers by nightfall if we really wanted to push it. Is that possible? There's a road there, right?
Yeah, it's road. There's a road to Divers. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, let's try to make it to Divers by nightfall. I would say, right?
Yeah, let's see if we can get there.
All right, so 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
I can use a bio break real quick. Be right back.
Okay.
Quickly coming to the edge of this map.
Who late are we playing?
What's that?
Who are we playing to?
I don't know.
Hey, bring the dip, man.
Huh?
No. Make this map larger.
That's why I recommended using a just paper and pencil because
I mean, for now, I'll make a larger map and recreate what I'm doing on this, on that.
they tend to run out of memory.
Oh yeah.
It's yeah, size.
Well,
hard.
I'll make separate maps as we get into different regions, so it's not. I'm not gonna make a whole Planis sized map.
Yeah.
But it is and it is how many miles from Greyhawk? It looks like it's 50. It looks like it's 15.
Okay.
All right.
So we at Divers or
No, not yet. I'm gonna get where do I get this that here? I think I'll just let them. A couple people went to the bathroom.
Yep,
Kinda
I
wanna
am
go
back.
myself. Okay. All right. Here.
What's the name of that church? Church of what?
Well, they're the Order of Saint Cuthbert.
Order of St. Cuthbert. Thank you. All right, I'm just making a couple notes while we got a second.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe. Well,
Do, 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 do. Do, do. Right back. Okay. Everybody's back. All righty. Just let me get this thing fixed.
hopefully, there's enough grass out here for our horses to feed. Because I don't know that they provided us any feed for the horses.
Yeah, I don't think we got any horse rations.
They can graze. We're only gonna ride them,
Yeah, we'll see if we can get onto another ship in Divers.
Yep. Yeah, they're
But
gonna be hungry little horsies.
yeah, but we can stable them at least when we get to Divers, and we're only riding until night. It's not like we're going for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they fall over dead, we know the church's horses suck.
Actually, horses go faster than 3 miles an hour, according to the.
I
Get
I don't think
more.
Gygax had Google, man.
Yeah, no, it's actually listed in the stuff here. Draft horse is 5. We can go 5.
All right. Yeah, this is the part this is why I try to, uh, what you're looking at in the book is one move per day on a map that has 5 mile hexes.
Right. And I'm just
And
pointing out that the movement is 5 for the horse and 3 for man on foot. I'm not trying to say, oh, this is exactly what we're going. I'm just saying we're going 2 faster per whatever. So instead of it taking 5 hours but on foot, it would take us 3 hours on horses. Just trying to make it a relative thing, not an exact.
so the thing is that, uh, he shortchanges people's movement to the point of being absurd.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you're you can the average person can march 3 miles per hour. But so he's saying that you can only move 3 hexes per day, 15 miles per day. So if you want to play his way, that's why I mentioned it's a long time to go.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not trying to get down into the rules other than to just show conceptually a horse is like 20%, 25% faster than humans, just for timekeeping. We might get there a little earlier than just the dead of night.
Okay. All righty. So the point of it is to you can spend a lot of time out there going, I'm just trying to make it faster is what I was
Yeah,
trying to.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
uh, so, um,
Anyway, we're on our way to Dwyer, right?
yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I've got my bow out. I'm writing in the style of my people with my bow ready for writing and shooting.
I think the priest had a point when he said this coin is attracting negative people.
Yeah.
Are we carrying a monster magnet?
Okay. So where is okay? So you're going to use the sigil as some sort of compass or barometer. You're going to have it out.
I'm just gonna occasionally check it to see if it's gotten warmer.
Mhm.
I don't think I'm gonna carry it out in the open. That seems to get negative reactions from people who see it.
Mhm. Okay. So
At
yeah,
least we haven't been arrested yet.
right. So it's righty. So it does get very dark quite quickly before you reach Diver, but you presume you're close based on the map that you've got. Um,
Can we see
Hmm.
lights in the direction of divers?
it's a little too wooded to see that yet, but if at all, but no, you don't. But that doesn't mean you're because again, it's so wooded. But uh,
You think we should push on? Try to get to Diver?
I mean, I think it's a good idea. No reason to camp out here if we can push ahead to divers. If we have, I have, if we need torchlight or something, is there enough starlight and moonlight to see our way, or do we actually need to light something to see?
well, it is getting quite dark, so you'll start getting into that necessity if you keep moving. Yeah.
I have a torch.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and light a torch.
All right, something.
Elves
Um,
have dark vision, correct?
Yeah.
yeah, honestly, one of the elves should be able to lead us, come up here with me and lead us where we need to go without us having to light a torch and pointing out where we are. People, you can see a torch a good long way at night, even in woods.
True.
All right. Save the torches.
What was that?
Do the ports see at night?
No, but I mean, we can guide them. I mean, we're on a road, right? I mean, it's pretty flat terrain on a road. We should be fine as long as one of the elves, who wants to come right up front,
I'll come right up
That's
front
fine.
with you.
right? Was that Jinx?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Did you? Was I talking over somebody? Did you want to do something and I overtalked you?
No, no, no.
Okay.
All good.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to lead us. I'll follow you, and just if you see something, let us know.
Storm.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna carry on.
Okay. Remembering that you're in OD&D versus D&D, so there's a little bit of difference with all these people and their abilities and such. So, but if you want to carry,
I think it said they had dark vision to 60 feet.
yeah,
Uh,
it's a twilight ability at 60 feet. Yes. Oh, but it's not the little, not the
The ultra
intensity of it.
vision.
Yeah, it's not the stuff that is in later versions. But yeah.
I mean, as long as we're not talking about cloudy skies that have completely blacked out the moon and stars, I think even men are probably okay. I mean, your eyes get used to it.
Well, again, it's very dark very quickly. It became very dark quite
Does it
quickly.
seem unnatural?
Eh, It's hard to tell. It did seem to be quick, but yeah.
All right.
Hmm.
Can anyone detect magic?
No.
No.
Well, we have. If it seems perhaps unnatural, but we can put it up to a vote. If you people think we should stop, we can stop. My personal opinion is we should. We're on a road leading to divers. I see no reason to stop being on the road when we have elves.
No, we can just get there.
Yeah. If we get lost, the sunup will come and we're 5 miles from a city.
We're safer in the city than we are
Yes.
out here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mhm.
I'll go waving that thing in everybody's faces. Hey, have you seen this evil thing we have? Got any opinions on it?
Don't mention pigtails either.
No. No ponytails.
They're ponytails. I keep saying pigtails.
Uh, so if you keep on going, you're going to hear the desperate cries of humans off in the distance. A lot of them. Some ricochet. Yeah, there's a lot of noise. It sounds like perhaps even battle. You're not sure. You can't see, but you do hear screams of panic and despair ahead of you.
Or in the direction we're heading.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Oh, man.
after you, Jinx.
I spur my horse ahead. I want to find out what's up.
I'm following as best I can.
Okay. Righty. You don't really see it again. The blackness is intense, and it's very difficult to see. So, but you do hear some screaming. You see something like a fire spark flying into the air, pretty pretty bright and intense, uh, flying into the air. You can see that
How
you're
far in the air? 100 feet?
well, yeah, yeah, all of that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does it look like natural fire or is it?
Yeah, it's just it does
Okay.
look like fire.
Gotcha. All right. Well, the closer we get to this, the better we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm with Jinx. I'll ride
Yeah,
in with
coming
her.
up on this, investigating.
I've got my bow ready to go.
Okay. All right. So when you look up into the air, you see something dark and moving briefly into the air. Not really sure what to make out of it, but something shadowy and quick moving that came across a glimpse of where this fire into the air was heading. The fire was moving from ground up.
Yeah. Do I get a sense of how big this thing is?
No, it just
Okay.
saw a glimpse of something.
Well, right. Some.
You ran off into the woods right now.
Yeah, you're still up. You're outside of the gates of the city and looking up through the trees. You saw the fire was easy to see because it's bright fire, and you saw something seeming to move near that fire in the air. Very brief glimpse of it.
I'm going to reach into my pack and touch the coin to see if it's warm.
It is a little bit warm now. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to relay that to everyone.
Okay.
It's getting a little warmer here.
I saw something fly through the air. I don't know what it was, and I don't know how big it was, but it seemed to be going along the path of the flame. I mean, if we're outside the gates of the city, I'm assuming is the city on fire? I mean, are we getting? Are we still hearing screams or?
You hear screams. You don't see any fire on the city. You just saw that bright burst into the air.
I think if we find the screaming, you think so? We've never seen one.
I've only ever heard of them.
Yeah.
It sounds.
After
You know,
things I've been through today, I don't. Could be anything.
one thing we do know is that people are screaming and maybe hurt, and if we can stop it, we should probably try to stop it.
Can you fly?
No, but we can go find out what the screaming is, and maybe put out the fire. You should keep them handy, as we may need them.
And the coin getting a little warmer lets us know we're kind of heading in the right direction, maybe.
That's the only way we can take it at this point. We don't have anything else to tell us that it's not that. I mean, we're obviously kind of doing a, you know, a trot here as we approach this area. I'm just looking for anything that tells me what's going on, or listening for yelling or whatever. If I can get to where people are screaming or whatever the issue is, I'm going to try to get to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's not much you could do other than you've seen it. If you're moving in, there's in the direction there is a gate around the city. Um, they seem preoccupied with screaming into the night air. Most people are at the gate are looking up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're at the city gates.
They're
Can't they
closed.
get out?
Well, they're on guard. There, you see people or hear people in guard tower area. You presume they're guards. You can see glimpses from time to time of more of the fire going up into the air, and that illuminates where you can see that people are also looking up at the fire moving into the air.
Ugh. That's
Fire is
gate.
starting on the ground and moving upward. Is that right?
That's right.
Maybe they're
Well, they may have
trying
this
to
under
stay or-
control.
You may have what? What was that?
I said they may have this under control.
Uh,
Are we close
Adam.
enough to a guard to ask what's going on?
You are. You can scream to one.
What-
Hope to
what's going
hope he
on?
hears.
You under attack?
They yell yes.
By what?
Don't know. It's flying though, and it makes a lot of noises, and it's tore the roof off of one of the buildings inside the city.
Can you let us in? Can we get in the gate?
They start cranking open the gate.
We'll head in as soon as we can get in there, and I'm gonna hop off
Things
my horse.
flying over the,
Go ahead.
no, the thing flying over the fire. Had to have been.
Who else is armed with a bow?
No, I am. I'm following you.
Jinx and a Darian.
No, I don't have a bow.
Lana. Liana. Jinx and Liana, let's head up to. Let's see if the guards will let us up on the parapet and see if we can spot anything. Uh, some of you beefier guys might try to see if you can help with any flames if you can.
Is there anything on fire in the city?
No,
There isn't. Oh, okay. I don't know why.
Looks like the
Anyways.
fire is shooting upward like they're shooting at something with fire.
Interesting. Had not occurred to me. Anyways, I'll try to see if the guards will say, "Look, I have a bow. I can help. Can I get up on the parapet?"
They let you in. You go through the gate. They close it behind you. There's people running everywhere, most of them going into shelters. There's some form of large building. It's kind of dark to see up ahead of you. You see some towers. As you get closer, you can sort of make out it looks like a church or something. There's a lot of people being brought into that church. Presuming that's what it is. It's just a guess. It looks to be some sort of large church. Like a shelter.
So is that uh myself and Jinx and Liana, or is that are we separating, or are we all
Are
heading
you?
in?
I'm
Well, I don't
assuming
know.
you're all.
No. Do you guys like?
Right.
Can we find out what this is?
I'd love to help, but I don't have anything ranged. I'm kind of useless.
That means anyone thinking people to stealth.
You can't tell. You see a lot of people moving there. It looks like a large, sturdy building. That must be why they're using it for shelter.
Does it have a
It's a-
tower?
It
Are
does
there any
not.
spears or anything there that I could?
Here.
I'm just trying to find. I'm trying to do whatever I can to get up on the parapet or someplace, a high point where I can try to get a bead on whatever this thing is. And I assume that
Got it in your hand. Somebody's got it in their hand, right? The closer you get to that down, the more it gets warm. Not burning your hands warm, but it does increase a little bit in warmth.
closer we
I
get to
can
what?
be. I can be bait.
What?
We didn't hear what it was. The closer we get to what, the coin gets warm.
Well, if you've gone closer to the city, you're inside the city at this point. It has gotten a little warmer once you got inside
Okay.
the city.
Okay.
They don't seem terribly interested in help or even listening. They're pretty scared. You hear a screech. There is an entrance to the tower. It is open. You can walk up there if you want. If
Yeah.
that's what you're
I
going up
start
there.
running. I'm running up to the top of the tower.
You hear what sounds like a eagle scream, but it's louder than any animal you've ever heard. You can see something circling around, a black shadowy figure, a very high pitched eagle like scream coming from it.
We
I'll
can
go up.
survive.
I'll go up and provide him cover
Okay.
with
Yeah,
my
I'm
shield and
rushing over
sword.
So I'm just gonna. Jinx, can you see it? I'm gonna shoot where you tell me to shoot.
Okay, well, I'm going to use a fire arrow. I'm going to use a flask of oil to light my arrow on fire,
Just use theirs.
and I'm going to shoot.
Good idea. I'll wait to see if you can hit it with a fire arrow, and maybe that'll give us a way to track it.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to illuminate what whatever this thing is.
Mhm. Yeah, like an illumination rod, right? Okay. Mhm. All right, you want to shoot at the shadow? Obviously, roll. Go ahead and make your roll for D20. I'll get to explaining how that works. You're going to. Um,
We're doing that in Discord.
yes. Do
Okay,
yeah.
I'm trying to do this. This is. Oh, okay, I just hit that roll D20. Okay, / roll D20. Okay. Whoa, shit. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of a. I wish I could get a better way, but that's all they give us.
Base. Oh, D20.
Did you do that in the dice tower?
Okay, so did I just roll a 5?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Terrible luck. I'm superstitious, guys. I believe in my dice, my physical dice.
Yeah, these things are awful. Wish we could get that to work. If you've got a camera to point at them or something, we can roll regular dice with if you've got that. But
I don't now, but by next time I will. I'm superstitious. I like my dice.
yeah, everybody hates those things. I don't blame you. So you
did?
rolled a 5, was it?
Yeah, that's never gonna do it.
No, no, you see something. The best you see is it doesn't hit anything as
Does
far
it
as damage.
light anything up
Yeah,
that gives me
yeah.
a better shot?
Does it show?
You see wings that have feathers, large dark wings that have feathers. You
I'm
hear
gonna fire it as
screaming.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, guys.
What did I do wrong here? Roll 1d. That's what I did.
Yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't want to do it. I don't know.
Try without the 1.
Don't use the space.
I think the space.
This is weird. Roll.
Yeah, this is where you just go to just
Go to the dice tower because I
Yeah,
know it
use the
links in there.
dice tower.
it'll just the best thing to do is just use Google Die Roller and clip it. Screen clip it. Mhm.
18.
Okay.
Ooh, get it.
Yeah. All righty. Um, yeah. Good.
I have a +1 for dex for ranged attacks.
Okay. Okay. So go ahead and oh, you don't know the damage you do.
1d6 for
Oh,
arrows, right?
okay. Yep. Go ahead.
4.
Okay. All right. So you see a very large feathered type animal. It screeches a little bit of
Dragons don't have feathers, do
a little
they?
bit of
No, they don't.
I think fire might be useful.
little bit of feathers on fire. You see some talons and a beak. So looks like to be a giant bird or eagle.
I'll yell out to everyone, "It's not a dragon!"
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus.
So you see two more of the large pieces of pieces of fire go in that direction towards one of them. You have noticed that there is two of them out there. Yeah. Mhm. All righty.
Well, I'm just waiting around till it gives me another shot or it kills me.
Right. So the second bolt of fire that flies out hits one square in the neck, and it makes it screech quite a bit.
Yeah.
Wow. And It's there's a lot of flame on it. You can see it. It's definitely looks like a giant eagle.
Giant eagle. Giant eagles be attacking the
It's
city.
terrific. You're in field ready. Oh, I was saying I had my spear and field ready. Keep the swoop down.
All right, what's that
Yeah.
is? Giant eagle, what's that?
It's
A large version of an eagle.
yeah. It's a rock is what it is. They're
Whoa.
rocks. They're two rocks.
I know. I don't think I've ever encountered those. So as far as I'm concerned, they're giant eagles. I don't know what rocks are.
They're big
Hey.
birds.
Yeah, rock is a giant bird. It looks like a hawk or an eagle. It depends on the artist's depiction of it, but it is just that, a giant predatory bird, like a hawk or an eagle.
I'm looking around. Are other people getting their shit together in the city and getting bows out and trying to shoot at these things now that one of them might be on fire?
Well, uh,
No, I know you did. I'm not talking about you. I mean the people of the town.
yeah, there's all you're seeing is people running for cover, and there's these large fire bolts flying at them. One has just hit one, and it hit it in the neck and did a tremendous amount of damage. Seemingly, it sure
Right.
sounded like it by the
Can we
reaction.
can we see where the fire bolts are coming from up here? Can any of you guys see that? While I'm concentrating on the birds, but can anyone see where those fire bolts are coming from?
They're coming from further inside the town.
Okay, we
Yeah.
can't see the source.
Mhm.
There's probably a wizard or something down there. Right?
Mhm. Okay. No, no.
I'm just throwing it out there that we're up against midnight right now. I didn't know how much longer you guys wanted to go, but
Yeah. It's 1 a.m. our time.
I know we're in the middle of a combat.
Oh yeah.
Unless we need to take this combat to, I mean, it's up to the GM typically.
Whenever whenever you want to stop is fine by me.
I can hear my girlfriend upstairs. I'm in the basement. She's pacing around, upset.
That's D&D, man.
Okay.
We can leave it on a cliffhanger, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, are you guys doing next Sunday?
Well,
Absolutely.
Storm, you said that you had something next Sunday. Is that right?
No.
I
No, not
I
me.
d-
Oh.
I actually do. The reason I was at because I actually have something planned for next Sunday, but you got my character. I mean, typically I never have a problem with Sunday nights. I just happen to this one Sunday night, um, and I made these plans before we agreed on Sunday night. So other than that, I'm good for Sunday nights all the time. So we can either do it or wait if you want to, but I'm fine with somebody running Gar while I'm out next week if you guys want to. Do we want to give it 2 weeks for you to do anything you need to work on in the world and just say we'll try it again in 2 weeks?
Mm. It's up to you. I don't, I have more time than I know
Okay.
what to do with, so it's all up to you.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Same
not
here.
miss it, but I can't be here next week, I guess is my point. But if you guys want to, like I said, if you guys want to all agree to next Sunday, then someone can run Gar.
No, whatever you guys want, it's all up to you.
Why don't
I'm
we
retired and I have
Yeah.
no life. So
I'm like, whatever people want to play.
take it up in the chat then as the week goes on?
Okay.
That way we're not dragging everybody out conversating now. Where's this? Where was this live stream to, by the way?
Rumble.
Rumble.
Y-
Yeah,
Yes.
I also saw it on YouTube, I think.
But what's the name of the channel?
It's
Oh,
YouTube.
okay.
It's Command Post Gaming on Rumble. You're the one that did it. Well, then it,
It's Rumble. It's not you.
Alrighty. Well, I'll see you guys on the chat on the OD&D Greyhawk chat during the week to see. I'll follow if you guys are gonna do it Sunday or if we're waiting for 2 weeks. But I'll see you guys on there.
okay.
There.
Thanks for
No.
having me. I appreciate it.
Rumble servers have always been messy, but since they've started their ad stuff, it's been really bad. In fact, if you look at Rumble stock, it's falling. They've chased off most of their big Rumble games.
I'm sad.
Oh well, we tried.
Well, thank you, Storm, and
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. Thanks.
Okay.
we will either pick it up next week or the week after.
All right.
All
Thanks,
righty.
guys. Bye bye.
All right. Thanks.
Good
Bye.
night.